Thank you.
I see some people we going past. Only God can judge me.
Где Каспа прощелка? Где Каспа прощелка?
All right, hello, welcome guys, welcome to our team webinar. Efrosyni is here, IMD with World Ventures, and I am so excited, super excited to have on this amazing webinar a very special guest. Now, before we get started, firstly, this webinar is being recorded, okay? So when the recording finishes, I will share with you guys. I'm telling you, because I know this guy very, very well, and I know his story, this is something that you're gonna wanna share with so many of your team members and listen to it over and over and over again. And if you're not prepared, my recommendation, grab a piece of paper and a pen, grab your phone, put it on silent. You don't wanna miss a moment, okay? Put it on silent, but you can, if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, you can take your phone and take some notes. Now, if this is your first webinar, welcome. If you've been around for a while, I'm sure that you have heard this name before. This special guest that I get the pleasure and the privilege to have on our team call tonight is someone that I remember I first started hearing his name quite a few years ago. And for a very long time, a lot of people were saying that this business does not work in New York. And it is so funny because we hear it over and over again, that the people that say that something cannot be done should never interrupt the ones that are already doing it. See, nothing was happening in New York because the right person hadn't shown up. The right person showed up, and all of a sudden, New York started getting on the map. Now, New York is one of the fastest growing markets. And later on, this particular individual moved to Florida and duplicating the same thing again. When this guy joined World Ventures, he was a hotel manager. He always says he was the person checking people into hotels. He wanted to be at the other side where he was getting checked into hotels. And in fact, he created a movement. He created a team called Team No Sleep, because that's literally what they were doing. They were literally losing sleep to build this business because they were hungry. This individual, not only has he achieved IMD once, but he's done it twice. And now he's getting ready to do it for a third time. And I'm super excited to bring this guy on the call. What I love about him the most, though, he's got the coolest sense of humor, and he's one of the most humble, down-to-earth guys that you can meet with a very, very huge heart. Julio, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
What's up, everybody? Can you guys see me and hear me?
All right, we can see you. Hang on. And now we can hear you.
Hello, hello, hello.
So welcome to our
First.
Hey, no way. No.
Oh, it sounds like your place. No? All right. Awesome.
No, it's definitely not me.
Okay. So, Julio, what I would love
Cool.
to, if I can get you to share, firstly, thank you for taking the time to be on our call. I know what a crazy schedule you drive, man. I would love for everybody here, in order to hear your story. What was the beginning like of your story, your journey, and a little bit of what life looks like now?
Cool. Well, I hope you guys hear me okay, because I get like a little bit of background noise and some skipping and stuff. But, you know, honestly, man, I feel like my story starts here. I feel like my story starts right here, right now, on this webinar with Efrosyni, with the freaking incredible teammates that you have and the incredible, you know, company that we have here. You know, I feel incredibly blessed to be here. You know, number one, I just want to say, for people in the whole wide world, I am constantly inspired by what you're doing and by what you've done. And so it's an honor to just be here, you know. But I mean that when I say that, I feel like the beginning is kind of like we're on the verge of something new. We're on the verge of a new era. We're on the verge of welcoming tons of new IMDs, new leaders, new rising stars, new speakers, new trainers, and all these things. But we go back to about 9 years ago, man, when I got started in World Ventures. I was 24 years old. I was a hotel manager. I was kind of like at the peak of my career at that point. And I was looking for the next level, but I didn't know what was going to happen in network marketing. I was trying, you know, to work around stuff with traditional businesses, you know, different things that I was trying to do to like create income and generate some sort of supplemental income where I can eventually, you know, replace my job and work for myself. And when I first saw it, I didn't know how this thing worked. I didn't know anything about it, but I have a awesome wife. Her name is Valerie, and you know, basically Val said, "I'm going to do this with or without you." And when she got started, I was doing like my research, right? And we all Googlers, and I Googled all kinds of stuff. And you know, to be quite frank, you know, I was looking for all the negative things that I can find about World Ventures, and I'm sure that again, a lot of you guys have done the same thing. So when I was looking for the negative stuff, I was looking for people that said, I joined World Ventures and, you know, I signed up my mom, my dog, my cousin, my, you know, pet goldfish and my great-great-granddaddy, and I didn't get paid. And I didn't find that. You know, I was looking for the person that said, I booked a dream trip. It was a $69 cruise. When I got to the docks, I looked up and there was no ship. And I couldn't find that either. So I just realized, man, that you can be skeptical, you can be stupid. And I wasn't going to be stupid. So I said, all right, cool, let's do this. And I got started. I didn't have anyone doing travel parties for me my first weekend. I didn't have anybody walking around with me doing 2-on-1s or 1-on-1s. I didn't have anybody helping me. And I had thing. It was good. It's going to take over the world. And I'm going to go out there and share this with as many people as I can. And so that first weekend, I showed it with 36 people. You know, 36 people I shared it with. Out of that 36, I got 5. The first 4 people that I showed it to were my mom, my sister, my brother. And I thought to myself, man, get 4, pay no more. I got all those 4 right there. And, you know, when they all told me no, it was a bittersweet moment. You know, for me, it was like bitter because I'm like, oh, they told me no, I can't get my 4, my fees aren't waived, and my mom sucks, and they all suck. And that's kind of like how I was thinking. But sweet, because I all of a sudden had somebody that mattered in my life that I needed to prove wrong, right? I needed to prove them, you know, that I made the right decision. I needed to prove to them that this is really going to take us to the top. And I needed to prove to them that this was the way to wealth and prosperity and abundance and time and money, freedom and fulfillment. Guys go here and you get a no there. And especially when you get a no from somebody you care about, it kind of pierces your skin a little bit deeper. You tend to let it hold you back versus letting it fuel you forward. And so that's my first piece of advice, man. Like, take that adversity, take those obstacles and those challenges that you're going to go through and let those things fuel you forward versus hinder you and, you know, put you in the fetal position. So I did that. Another, you know, highlight was, you know, the next event that was coming up was in Las Vegas, and it was about a month or two after I got started. And I barely had the money to get started. I mean, when I got started, it was $500. I did not have the money there. I was living paycheck to paycheck in a 2-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, borderline Brooklyn to Queens. You know, my friend comes and tells me, he goes, "Oh, we're gonna go to Vegas for this training," and I'm like, "No, we're not. I ain't got no money to go there." He's like, "We gotta go, man. That's where all the millionaires are gonna be at." And I'm like, "Man, I've never been in a room full of millionaires, especially not millionaires that are gonna teach me." On credit cards, me and my wife, you know, we put it on our credit cards and stuff, and we ended up going. And when I went to that event, it was called Momentum. It fired me up, man. I mean, so the biggest takeaway that I got was that I met people who were just like me doing extraordinary things. You know, I met ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that really motivated me, not because of any other reason other than I've always felt extraordinary, man. I didn't feel like I was better than anybody. I just feel like I'm willing to go do more than anyone around me is willing to go do at any point in time. I'm willing to take it to the top, to the end, you know, and then back, you know. And I came back home and I went and I exposed 466 people in a matter of about 45 to 60 days. And I got all no's before I got one yes. A lot of you guys would have quit. One thing that kept staying in my head was when I heard Dr. David Peach come on stage and say that the average person gets 3 out of 10. So I understood leverage and teamwork and duplication and all those things, but I also understood business launch, right? You know, when you launch your business, man, you're gonna have the most resistance in the beginning. It's like flying a plane. It's like launching a plane, right? You got to use the most amount of energy, the most amount of fuel, the most amount of gas, the most amount of everything upon takeoff. But then once you get to a safe cruising altitude, you don't have to work as hard, right? So I knew that I had to work really hard in the beginning. And in my head, the only thing that I had was I had to expose 10,000 people, because at this point in time, I only had one team member, one person, one teammate that I can depend on, and that was me. So I got busy. You know, I didn't care about going through 460 no's. I was prepared to go through 7,000 no's before I got a yes, because I just believed in the law of averages and numbers and stuff. Took me 13 months to hit senior rep. About a year and a half after that, I hit IMD. I went from $500 a month to $30,000 a month in 12, you know, basically in a 12-month period. It was like $27,000 a month in a 12-month period. And then about 2 months after that, I want to say about 15 months in, I went from $500 a month to 15 months later doing around $50,000 a month. Moved down to Florida, and I literally came down here with the same mindset. I'm really thinking right now about doing the training, do half live, half stream, where I want to talk about the things that, sorry about that, my phone's dying. I want to talk about the things that I do to like launch a new market. But I basically came down to Florida, man, and I did the same thing I did in New York. I came down here with the intention of exposure, expansion, speed of exposure, and really just covering as much ground as I can. And in about the same time, in about 2.5 to 3 years, I hit IMD for a second time. Yeah, man, got my $1 million ring. My house is paid for by 2 of my house bonuses. My cars are paid for by, you know, it's now 3 of my car bonuses. My third position is at marketing director. I'm really, you know, belly to belly, really in your face kind of person. I don't use Zoom as much when I build a business and stuff, even though I know it's a huge, huge, huge tool. But I'm just really, you know, I guess kind of like what you would consider old school, I guess, right? I'm in the street, I'm meeting people, I'm networking, I'm connecting with people. These what I'm shooting for right now for a boot camp / the view kind of time. And this is something that I'm just going to be doing for my whole life, man. I mean, I think one thing that's changed for me in the last couple of years since I've matured and learned more about myself and my peers and my friends is this is a marathon, not a sprint, you know. And just because it's a marathon doesn't give you permission to go slow, right? It can be a fast sprint. And you also got to be able to enjoy the process while you're doing this. You know, have different ways to enjoy the process. Like, for example, Efrosyni is who I call my Jason Bourne / James Bond IMD. I mean, she's like freaking everywhere on the planet. I have no idea. That's exciting, you know, and that's what makes her happy. That's what makes her fulfilled. That's what gives her significance, sense of value, and, you know, drives her to go out there and perform the way that you've been able to perform. You know, for me, I've kind of been like the plant my flag wherever I live kind of region thing, and then expand from that point out. And that's the way that I built. You know, I raise my kids around that. I build my family around that. And I make my friendships around that. And so just find a way that you feel happy building it. There's a fine line, right? And I'll do this before I go to the next question, Efrosyni, right? Find a space between where you're the happiest building and the most productive. Okay, if you can find like that fine line, that little line right there, be easy, man. Walk in the park.
I love it. James Bond, really?
Yeah, man.
So tell me, so June, we've got people on webinar that are literally in their first week, and we got some people that have been around for a while. If someone is on this call and they're in their first week, they still haven't been to a training, maybe they're considering going to a training, and especially now we have boot camp coming up here in Ireland. And let's say there were one of your team members that just got started. What would you say to them in terms of the power of the training? I know you shared that you went to Las Vegas, you didn't get the money, changed everything. But is there anything else you would share with someone to get them to understand the power of the trainings and what it could do for them?
Yeah, I mean, well, here's a fun fact, right? And I'm gonna be brutally honest. You don't go to training, you don't have a shot. You know, you don't have a shot. You don't have a chance. You don't have a praying opportunity to hit any of those goals that you're thinking about. You know, you may think that you're as good as who you think you are. You might think that you're better. You might think, I don't know what you might be thinking. You know, I have a firm belief, right? I don't know, you know, but man. And, you know, the things that I know in my life today have gotten me this far. And for me to get to the next level, I'm going to have to learn some new things. And if somebody who's achieved those things and I'm looking to go out there and attain is who is willing to teach me those things, I'd be a fool not to attend. I'd be a fool not to pay attention. The people who are promoting training, the people who are emphasizing for you to go to training, you got to look at it like two ways, man. Number one, the person in your upline or your teammate or whoever it is, one, they are either financially benefiting from you succeeding, right? So they want to see your business grow. They want to see you grow. They want to see you do well. Or, you know, even if they're not in your upline, downline, sideline, they know what's going on in your life. They know what you deserve. They know what kind of person you are. So maybe they want to see you benefit from that perspective. All in all, man, they want to see you win. And that's why they're inviting you to training. They're not telling you to go to training because, you know, the proceeds go to saving the whales. You know, they're not telling you to go to training because, you know, it's going to be a good time. Even though it is going to be a good time, trust me, it's going to be a good time. They're telling you to go to training for your own good. You know, I had a conversation with a young lady from Tampa yesterday. She just signed up, a new teammate. I'm excited for her. She'll be on the team call after this one. And she says she's a shy person, right? And I told her, I'm like, well, let me ask you a question, man. If you got family members that have a terminal disease, they're dying, right? And you had the cure, would you be afraid to show? Second question, if you gave them the cure and some of them told you no because they're afraid that either one, the cure doesn't work, or two, they're afraid of the side effects from the cure, right? Would you feel bad? And she says, no, I wouldn't feel bad because I gave them the opportunity. So I said, okay, well, listen, most people are dying from average, right? Most people just live until whatever, then they die and they get forgotten about and they live an average life their whole lives. We have the cure. It's called World Ventures. It's called Dream Trips. It's called You Should Be Here. It's called Efrosyni. It's called Mac and Tino. We have the cure. It's here. Now, all I got to do is just pass you the cure, you know, and if you take the cure, then great. You know, you have an opportunity to go out there and make this thing happen. And, you know, training is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of the process. It's a huge part of the learning curve. It's a huge part of the culture. You know, it's not when you get into World Ventures and World Ventures gets into you. And that's what you're going to get at training, man. Don't be stupid. Come to training, man. I'm telling you.
I love it. You always tell it like it is. Okay. And what about painting a picture in terms of what life looks like for you, June? Because there's There's a lot of people here on the call that they haven't seen your lifestyle. Obviously, I know who you are and I know what you've accomplished. But what does life look like in the life of June right now?
My life looks like this, right? I'm looking at this money on my desk, right? This currency, and I have no idea, zero idea what country I got this money from. Like, that's number one, right? I have no idea where this money came from, so I don't know, Google it. I don't know. I have no idea where this money came from. I got to, like, trade this stuff in. But my life is a dream, man. I mean, it's my dream. We all have different, ideas of what our dream is. And my dream was always to be able to raise my kids full time. My dream was to be my friends to my peers. My dream has always been to be a positive influence and a role model that's, to an extent to as many people as I can be. I mean, that's that. I mean, from a money perspective, shoot, I live in best neighborhood that you can live in Florida. I mean, if you Google the neighborhood that I live in, it is the average income of the people that live in my neighborhood is higher than the average income of the people that live in Beverly Hills, Calabasas, Hamptons, whatever neighborhood that is. And I'm probably the youngest homeowner in my neighborhood. Like, people ask me, what do? I tell them that I'm a rapper. And my number one single is, Are You Ready to Get Started? Chicka, chicka. Right? I drive what I want to drive. I do what I want to go do. And most importantly, I spent every day of my life teaching other people how to be able to do exactly what I do. So, life is sweet, and it's exciting, and most importantly, it's just getting started, and there's so much room for more. So whatever your dream is, you can make it happen here. I promise you that.
Amazing. And just one last point, June. So right now we've literally got 6 weeks between now and boot camp here in Europe. And let's say we've got some people that are watching either the replay of this webinar or they're watching it live right now, and they have some goals they want to hit, and either they're brand new and they want to hit these goals, they want to hit senior rep, they want to hit director, marketing director, or there's some people that, maybe they've been wanting to push certain goals for a while, but somewhere along the way, they kind of lost their mojo. But they're determined in order to change the story between now.
Well, this is what Well, here's the deal. You got basically a couple weeks to change your life, man. People think that it takes years and years and years and years to change your life. And that's true to an extent, but I believe that real life change starts inside here. And it starts with a decision, and it starts with a clear commitment where you're no longer willing to bargain with your dreams and with your goals, right? And so, some of the things that I would start doing right now, as soon as you get off of this webinar, man, is, really sit down and where you are and where you want to be, and then the line of sight yet to filter away the things that are not serving you. And so maybe what you want to do is look at somebody like Efrosyni and ask what they're doing. What is it that they did to get to where they are? Maybe just pay attention. I mean, I see people do things that sabotage their success on a regular basis. Too much TV, too much, income decreasing activities. Minutes, but then you spend the next 3 hours drinking the night away or not paying attention. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying be intentful, be on purpose. And you only got a couple weeks right now between now and boot camp. And boot camp is going to be phenomenal. I'm telling you, it's going to be me, Stavros, Marcus Setta, Sasha, and Governor Giorgio. It's going to be insane. I'm more excited about this boot camp coming up right now in Ireland than I've been excited about any event all year thus far. I'm super pumped about it. It's going to be insane. So again, get your mind right, sit down, figure out what you got to, get out of your life, figure out what you need to do more in your life, and then make a decision today, man, to say, yo, I'm going to go do this thing harder than any other season I've ever done. Those of you guys we're tippy-toeing, you're putting your toe into the pool, trying to check, to see if the water's cold or the water's warm. I'll tell you a secret, man. The water's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be too cold. It's always going to be too warm. The weather's not going to be right. There's always going to be something. But if the goal is to get from one end of the pool to the other end of the pool, just jump in, man. Cannonball, jump in it. I promise you, if you go out there and make 50 calls today, by your 10th or 11th call, it's not even going to phase you. Like, you're not even going to have like this hesitation. You're not even going to have, this fear. My favorite quote that I've heard all week is, fear is a misuse of your imagination. Okay, so stop misusing your imagination. Start thinking courageous instead of fearful. Start asking yourself, if you go all in right now, what is possible for you by boot camp? How many teammates can walk stage and thank you by boot camp? How many people can you thank when you go walk stage at boot camp? How can you dramatically increase your income, your lifestyle? How can you help others and help them achieve that next level? Like, fear is a misuse of the imagination. If that doesn't motivate you, then ask yourself, what happens if you don't go all in? What happens if you don't give this thing everything that you got? What if you don't give it the energy that you have right here, right now, and really pump yourself up to go out there and make this happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's not even about making things happen. It's the fear of, what if you don't make it happen? You see, if I didn't go for a season of my life to go build IMD, I'd still be working 60, 70 hours a week at a hotel. I'd still be living in a 2-bedroom apartment in the hood. I'll still be driving a Nissan Maxima, which was not a bad car, but it wouldn't be like my Range Rover or my Tesla or the Lamb, like all these things, So what would my life look like if I didn't go all in? That's scarier to me today than psyching myself up to go get busy. So, another thing too, man, picture yourself there. Picture yourself in $1 million home. Picture yourself being interviewed by legends like Efrosyni. Picture yourself being a global phenomenon. Like, you got to see these things and then ask yourself, damn, if I don't do this, I won't get that. Isn't that a misuse of your energy? Isn't that a misuse of your time? Like, get to it, man. You're the next star. I can see it. I can see it. If you're hanging out with Efrosyni, it's 100% guaranteed,
You rock, man. Thank you very much for your time and for your wisdom, June. Man, I can't wait to see you in Ireland and hang out.
We're going to have fun, man. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to dye my beard red for stage. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh, I'd like to see that. Like a little leopard.
All right, guys. Hey, man. Listen, Efrosyni, like I said, man, like, total pleasure. I love hanging with you. Every time I see you, it feels like I'm bumping into my sister from another mister. And, I'm just, again, excited to just be a part of this process, man. And, for those of you guys, whether you're a brand at the right time with the right people, you're building something that not only is amazing and sustainable, but you're building something that matters, and you're really making an impact on people's lives. So there's absolutely no better way to build wealth. If you think about money, man, there's a million ways to make $1 million, but there's not that many ways that you can make $1 million and impact 1 billion lives. So lock and load, people.
Thank you, champion. Really appreciate it. So, guys, there you have it. Like I said to you, there were so many gold nuggets in there. The replay, it's on Facebook Live right now. You'll be able to see it. The recording's going to be out. And if you have not registered for boot camp, either in the US or to hang out with June and all of us in Ireland, the link is just already posted. And, of course, there's regionals all around Europe next weekend. We have the launch of France next weekend. I'll be there. I'll be in Prague. We got London with IMD Efrosyni. It's about to go crazy. Guys, make it a powerful week. You got everything you need inside you. Release the lion and see you at the next event.